Jackson Purvis,
My name is Isaac Jean Francois.
and our project is called the Solar Fair.
So first is the issue of where's the United States ranked as scientifically literate in the world. We're ranked 25 right now because we're not so into distributing science across the people in our country. STEM jobs right now is at an all-time high with the growth of technology, all these different things coming out. We got nano software, we got Apple. 20 years ago, Apple didn't exist, but right now, we're at the height of all technology. And of all college students, only 16% are STEM students. The reason for that is there's a lack of interest and a lack of aptitude for science, or science STEM in general. And so we want to just get new approaches to heighten students' interest in STEM.
So our objective is to help improve the U.S. rank in scientific literacy by providing the general public a fun medium of presenting scientific concepts through accessible technology. In other words, we want to make science fun, especially for the next generation.
So with that, we have the Solar Fair. It's literally a traveling exhibit all across the United States, or right now for Florida, because that's where we're at right now. It's gonna run entirely on solar energy. It's gonna have different setups around the fair, like a normal fair. You have your circus, you got your clowns, you got your jugglers, but this one's for technology. You're gonna have a computer lab, mobile VR lab, mobile scientific museum.
Our fair will be primarily split up into 3 parts. First is the computer lab, which will contain around 25 MacBook Pros that could run a number of interactive games based on science. It could be a pre-developed game like Mission Biotech, which is available online, or we could develop our own games, like a multiplayer trivia game, maybe in the style of Jeopardy that pits each of those 25 computers against each other. There's also the VR lab, which contain around 5 Oculus Rift virtual reality headsets. Each one would run on an Asus ROG GX700 gaming laptop. Gamers would be able to experience an immersive game that encourages people to think scientifically in realistic and interactive environments. Basically, we want to immerse them in a situation where they would have to think scientifically and solve a problem using their own skills. Finally, there is the Scientific Museum, which is sort of the old school part of our project. It would be like a traditional museum exhibit. It would contain a series of models, displays, and live speakers and educators, educating guests in all areas of science. In order to conserve energy, we would actually not have any electrical devices powering this particular part of the project. So it would be lit by candlelight when the sun went down and by sunlight during the day. So that would decrease the amount of solar power we had to generate.
This is how our solar power is being generated. We have one central solar field that generates at least 150 watts per day. We have 2 individual panels that generate 300 watts per day. And then dimensions about 7 feet by 3 feet, just to get you a general range of how wide it is by about 1 inch. 6 batteries of 6 volts, and the setup would allow us the fair to operate about 12 hours a day. So we go 8 to 8, 12 to 12, 9 to 9, just 12 hours straight.
We wanted to give a rough estimate for how much money we could expect to pay for the equipment involved. It would cost roughly $60,000. It's just a rough estimate, but we wanted to have a ballpark figure to play around with. The company or organization that funded or sponsored this project would have to purchase these supplies. You can get them from a number of places, such as Apple, Oculus. There are a number of suppliers online that can sell solar panels. You would have to make back that money in order to make a profit or at least break even by charging to enter the fair. So if you were to say set the ticket price at around $25, you would need about 2,313 guests total to break even. This number of guests could be achieved if you sent the solar fair on tour like he described across the state or potentially across the country for one day. Alternatively, if you didn't like that idea, you could just reduce the quantities involved. So maybe instead of 25 max, you could do 15. Or instead of 5 headsets, you could do 3. That way you could lower the ticket prices, or you could decrease the number of guests you would need to actually break even and make a profit. The catch, of course, is that the guest capacity would decrease, meaning fewer people would be in your fair at one time, and you have less total guests.
So you're asking how this relates to biology. Well, obviously we're using solar power to generate our energy. And what happens is not only just solar power, but we'll have exhibits set up per day. For instance, you know how we have Taco Tuesday or Throwback Thursday? We'll have like Water Wednesday, and we'll break apart exactly what water is, how it plays a role in life, and how we need water on a daily basis. Or Space Saturdays, we take apart constellations, or we just wait, we'll find a day that correlates with something that's about to happen in space, like an eclipse, and we'll just set up for an eclipse so that everybody can watch it and learn about it.
Potential companies, hopefully maybe someone like Florida Poly would be interested in running a project such as this. Alternatively, maybe even bigger, maybe the entire Department of Education here in Florida would be interested in funding a project such as this. NASA could tie it more into space exploration and talk about how it relates to our lives and how important it is. But really, it's a pretty wide array of companies. I mean, any public or private organization that's interested in finding the next generation of scientists, technologists, engineers, or mathematicians could gain something from this, because it's all about finding the next Einstein, the next Newton, and introducing them to the information and knowledge they're going to need to succeed in the future.
We want to thank everybody that helped us.